Hey, Charles,
Hey, what's up?
do you know much about that American Opportunity Tax Credit?
Yeah, my parents got it last year, and they got a pretty big refund too.
Really? I sure could use 2,500 bucks. I know my school puts on this account information, a form of 1098-T. Does this mean I can qualify for the American Opportunity Tax Credit?
Possibly, but what the form does let you know is that you may be eligible. Last year, my parents claimed me, and they got the ALTC. I know they got back a large part of the tuition they paid for me, which reminds me, I didn't get a 1098-T this year, so I'll have to make note of it right now.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know a thing about taxes, and my parents probably don't either. They go to a preparer every year.
Yeah, well, for starters, your parents will need to take Form 1098-T to their preparer. And my parents did mention just because you get the form does not mean you qualify. So just as an FYI, if all your expenses are not reported on 1098-T, it does not mean you can't take a tax benefit. It just means you need more documentation. That's why my parents asked for more information on expenses that we paid last year.
Really, like what?
Well, I had to give them a copy of my receipts for books and for my lab supplies.
Okay, you've given me a lot of information that I did not know about. I'm actually pulling the form up now. Wow, look at box one. I paid a lot more than what they have on here. It's not just tuition, it's the cost of books and supplies and things of that nature, right?
Yeah, that's why it's important to keep all your receipts for tuition fees and books and supplies that you had to buy.
Yeah, I see. Oh my gosh.
What?
You have yogurt everywhere. Nothing's changed since kindergarten.
Looks that way, right?
Jeez. Okay, now how about box five?
Okay.
Scholarships? What's that all about?
Okay, so scholarships is another important form of money. I had scholarship money too. I learned that if it's just used to pay for your tuition, books, and fees, that you can't use those funds for expenses. However, there wasn't a problem for me last year because it only covered half of my expenses. The rest my parents paid for. So if you go to a preparer, I'm certain they're going to ask you about any other types of scholarships on your 1098-T and other expenses.
Okay, so what did you have to do?
Well, they just asked me about the amounts of scholarships I received and how I used those amounts. Did I use the scholarship just for tuition, books, and fees, or some just for tuition or room? And I had to give them a list of other scholarships I got that weren't listed in box 5 there.
Okay, so I guess I just need to make sure my parents have the Form 1098-T handy when they go to their preparer this year.
Yep, and I have to remember to bring it all to my parents when I go home next weekend too, so.
How
I
about
never know.
this? You know how you keep hassling me about this new phone you got for Christmas that can do everything? Why don't you see how well it works with taking pictures? Take up a picture and send it to them on your phone.
Not a bad idea. Well, you know, when my parents were looking for additional information, they checked out irs.gov and searched for education credits. There was a ton of information on this site.
Okay, well, irs.gov, I'll have my parents go there as well. You know, I will say one thing. You're not too good with first dates. After all, this is a coffee shop. But you do know your stuff. I'll give you that about the American Opportunity Tax Credit. I'm so glad we had this discussion.
Okay, well, perhaps happy hour next time?
Sure, you drive.